today's topic, really, really important. So please get on a lot of new coaches because what I hear very often is how people do not want to sound salesy, be salesy, feel icky when they're talking about a new program or a new product that we are launching. So when I asked this speaker if she would come on and talk about what she does to promote our products, this is what she said. So stick around so you can hear it. You guys, she's been coaching over 3 years, and she is now a 7-star diamond coach. Congratulations on that. She's a 2-time elite coach, and she has been achieving Success Club 34 months in a row. 34 months in a row. That means helping at least 3 new people every single month. She's done that 34 months in a row. Okay, so that makes her an all-star legend here at Beachbody. She's from Team Grit and Grace, and she's from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Please welcome Katie Moore.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, I'm so honored to be here today. Thank you, Sandy.
You're very, very welcome. I'm excited to have you here, and I'm going to step aside and have you talk about what brought you to Beachbody and the wake-up call that you had while you were coaching.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I am so honored to speak on this call with you today. All right. Well, let me start off just by saying this. 3 years ago, when I came into Beachbody, it was not for a brand new program. It was not for superfoods or super trainers, and it was definitely not for the coaching opportunity. 3.5 years ago, I came into Beachbody truly as a broken woman at 215 pounds, struggling so much to find who I am and where I was and how I could weather the storm that we were in. 3.5 years ago, I had actually walked away from my career that I had spent a long time building in order for my husband to chase his dreams. And we had just moved into a new town. I had a baby and a toddler. And for the first time, I can honestly say, without a support system and without friends and family to surround us and not knowing anyone, I truly just felt totally overwhelmed. And at that time, I actually developed postpartum depression, which I had never experienced, and I didn't know anyone else who had experienced either. And so I am your classic perfectionist, totally Enneagram 1, and I was really struggling. And I decided I was going to struggle alone, and I wasn't going to tell anybody because I was determined that I was not going to, get in the way of my husband's career and burden him. And, I could totally do this on my own. And I was so scared and so afraid of what I was going through and so full of shame that I just didn't talk about it. Well, during this time, I went from a relatively healthy woman, very ambitious, to truly using food and alcohol as a way to cope. And by the end of the 6 months struggling alone, I could barely get myself out of bed each day. And that was when I really hit a wall. And I reached out to my husband one day and I said, you know what? I said, I think what I have is postpartum depression and I need help right now. Now, here's the thing that we don't talk about with trauma and depression and things like that is that, I had gotten through it. And finally, this cloud of depression was coming off of me. But the problem was, I was still left in this body I didn't recognize. I was still left with these habits that I had created during this time, abusing food and alcohol as a way to cope. And I had no idea where to start. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm probably like the typical customer that had watched a coach for a really long time and was determined to do it alone. I decided, okay, I'm going to get healthy and I'm going to do this. And babe, we're doing it together. I recruited my first accountability partner. It was my husband. You know how this goes. It was fun for about 2 weeks. I was doing workouts from YouTube. I was Googling recipes, using Pinterest as my nutritionist. I had no idea what I was doing. And of course, weeks down the road, I totally had lost steam and fell off track. And I thought to myself, okay, I can't do this alone, but I do follow this coach on social media. Now, mind you, she had never once said that she was a Beachbody coach. She had never once said a program name, a product name. So I actually had no idea what she was doing, but I did know that she talked a lot about her accountability group and a lot about the community of women that she was surrounding herself with. And for me, as a new mom to the second child and struggling to find community where I was at, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to give this a go. And honestly, I assumed this would be one more thing that I failed at, but I was determined that I had nothing left to lose. And so that day I actually went into my bathroom and I took the before picture that you're going to see on the screen that Sandy's going to share. And honestly, that day, it wasn't the 215 pounds that was alarming me. It wasn't, the weight that scared me. I was more scared of staying the same than I was of the change. I knew that there was a greater purpose for my life, and I knew that I needed to put things into place to make those changes. And so I reached out to that random girl on social media that I had never talked to really, other than just about kids and family stuff. We had never talked about Beachbody. And I reached out to her and I said, listen, I said, it's time. I said, I need you. I don't know what it is that you're doing, but I've been following you for a year and a half. And I need to know what you're doing and I want to be a part of it. And so that day on a random Monday, she sent me the link to join her. And to my surprise, when I opened that email, it said, welcome to Beachbody.
I'm here, and that picture is incredible. Congratulations. And you had me when you said I had Pinterest as my nutritionist.
It's true.
Thank you for sharing that story, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to you. Now, let's talk about this topic, because at the point that you were starting coaching, did you even think that anybody would buy from you or would relate to you? Why don't you just go right into the topic?
Yeah. Well, I was really excited to be asked to speak on this call. This is actually the thing that I'm the most passionate about because, as a brand new coach, I really struggled to find my footing. I didn't have a background in, nutrition or in fitness. I didn't have any background in business or in marketing. And so I kept looking outside of myself, trying to figure out, how do I scale a business? How do I grow my impact? But the truth is that all of us have that inside of us because every single one of us is talking to someone different. So what I would love to share with you today is how I went from a new coach, totally lost and trapped in the trainings and calls and feeling like I was having a hard time getting my feet planted in this business, and how I was able to grow my impact and how I was barely able to hit Success Club to now changing hundreds of lives all through these really simple things that you can put into place today. So I'm actually going to be going over 3 different points. If you want to write them down ahead of time, great. But I'm going to be going down and breaking them down for you. The first one is, I want to teach you how to run your own race. Number 1, run race. Number 2, don't sell me, show me. And number 3, conversations convert. So when I first jumped into coaching, I have to tell you, I did what probably most coaches do. I went and followed all of the top coaches who were just so inspiring and so awesome. But here's the problem that I found is that instead of just allowing them to inspire me, what I began doing is comparing my day 1 with their years 5, 6, 7. And it almost took me out of the game. And so here's what I want you to do for me is I want you as a newer coach, I want you to put your blinders on because this business is one where we can get really distracted by all the shiny things. But I want you to put your blinders on because I want you to focus on you and your story. Here's what I found. When I got started, I was like, I want to do this differently. I want to share the trench that I just crawled out of because I know there's got to be other women who are struggling. So I started sharing about postpartum depression. I started sharing about food and alcohol abuse. I started sharing about my decade-long struggle with restriction and binging. And here's what I found, and I know you will find too. I was never alone in the struggle. I just wasn't hearing other women talk about it, but I was never alone. And so what I have found is truly, it just takes opening up about it because all of a sudden these women are coming to me saying like, oh my gosh, you just vocalized what it is that I'm going through. And so I'm going to be talking more about pain points later, but it was talking about the struggle that they were currently in. So on social media, you're going to have to learn how to be unapologetically you and share your story. But more than just sharing your story, this is what I want you to hear from me today. You have to realize that you are not the main character of your social media. And I know that sounds really confusing because it's our page, right? But your page is actually about the woman who's watching, or the man, I'm sorry, the woman who is watching you, right? The one behind the phone that needs to see herself in your journey. So one of the first books that I read as a brand new coach that just changed the game for me, hands down, I've probably read it 10 to 15 times. It's just that impactful, is How to Build a Story Brand by Donald Miller. It was one of those books that for me really taught me to clarify my message. It really honestly, you know what it is? He was teaching me what a niche was before niche was popular to talk about. He was teaching me how to build a brand based on storytelling, how to build a brand on adding value, and truly how to transition my social media from being the hero that people looked up to and admired to being the guide that people wanted to come along the ride with and help guide them on their journey. I wanted to share a quote from his book really quickly, and it says, "The goal of our branding should be that every potential customer knows exactly where we want to take them. Identifying our customer's problem deepens their interest in the story we are telling. Every story is about somebody who is trying to solve a problem. So when we identify our customers' problems, they recognize us as a brand that understands them." Now, here's what I've come to learn on this journey is that every struggle that you have had and that you have conquered is somebody else's current struggle. And so this is the best news. And this is something that I am so passionate about when I get new coaches, because the thing is even if you signed up yesterday, you can help someone who signs up today. You're one day ahead of them. I didn't start coaching after I had lost the 75 pounds. I started coaching in the trench. I started taking women with me out. I started saying, I'm one day ahead of you. I still don't know everything, but I'm willing to find us the answers, and I'm going to empathize where you're at. I'm going to meet you where you are, because here's the thing. The workouts weren't what brought me in here. I couldn't even climb up my flight of stairs. I couldn't do a 30-minute workout, but you know what I could do? I could push play and try. I could go on a walk in my neighborhood. I could go on a bike ride with my kids. I could focus on my nutrition. It was those little itty bitty things, but I wanted to make sure women knew that I was meeting them exactly where they were. So the second point is, don't sell me, show me. Now, in the 3.5 years of coaching, I have never once said a name of a program, product, or even identified myself as a Beachbody coach. And as you heard earlier, that's because my coach never did for me. And the thing that I do know is that if she had, guess what I would have done? Googled. I would have Googled it. I totally would have Googled it, because I'm cheap. I'm still cheap. I would not have signed up with her, because here's the thing is that when you don't leave any details out, they're going to go and Google it. And I think a couple things happen in my mind. Number one, they get overwhelmed, right? I know that if I were to just go to teambeachbody.com, I would probably feel a little overwhelmed and not know where to start, right? And so maybe that would have deterred me in the first place. Number two, what could have happened is I get online and I Google, and people will find what they're looking for. If they're looking for an excuse, they're going to find all the negative, all the false claims about our company, about our programs, about our products. And it would scare me to have even said yes, right? Or the third thing that could have happened is I get on the site and let's say I just purchased Beachbody on demand, but then I don't have the total solution, because we know these nutrition programs change lives, right? We know that the total solution is what people need to get the results they're after. And so if I had known what it was, I probably would have gone online. I probably would have gotten 3-month Beachbody on demand, and I probably wouldn't have gotten results. And I probably would have said negative things about Beachbody and how it didn't work. Why? Because I didn't have the support of my coach. I didn't have a community of women to surround myself with. Everybody needs the total solution, which means that you have to show them what is out there, but you also don't want to tell them everything that's included. Okay, so the way that I speak about my services is very specific to the woman that I serve. I'm speaking to the pain points of the woman behind the phone, right? That's watching my story. Now, how do I know her pain points? That woman is former me, right? Just like the woman or man that's watching you is former you. I can only speak to the pain points that are familiar with me, but I can tell you that most of the women who are watching me have a very similar story to me. They are moms who are totally overwhelmed and isolated in motherhood. They are so afraid that even if they do sign up, they're going to fail at this. They are exhausted. They barely have the energy to shower each day. And so I don't need to be pushing a 30-minute workout. I need to be pushing simplicity. I need to be pushing that I'm going to meet them where they are. I'm going to be pushing one day at a time, because the woman who needs me is former me. And former me did not need to hear that I had all excuses. The former me did not need to hear that I needed to be pushing play in order to have success in this journey. What I needed to hear is I'm going to meet you where you are, and I'm going to scaffold you to the success that you're going to have on this journey. So the woman I'm talking to doesn't care about new programs being released, and she doesn't care about the newest flavor of Shakeology, although I am so excited about cookies and creamy. That's not what they're here for, right? The woman who's watching me is actually buying my belief in her and my conviction in the solution to solve her problems. And again, going back to the Donald Miller thing, that is because she is the hero. She's about to save her own life. But what I can do is I can take her on that journey and be her guide. She is the hero. So I don't know about you, but prior to joining Beachbody, I really did associate all network marketers with the Hey Girl approach. I literally at some points would turn off notifications. I deactivated my Facebook at one point because truly what ended up happening is I was getting dozens of messages from women who, wanted to connect and, oh, I haven't seen you in forever. It's so good to see you. Helen from high school and Susie from sorority and all these amazing women. And I was so excited. And then I would be hit with, bam, hey, you need to buy this product. And I honestly began associating every single network marketer as that all it was a sale. It was a transaction. It was never about who was behind their screen watching them. It was never about me as a human. It was me as a sale. And so, over the last few years, we've seen this evolution of social media. We've seen it go from Facebook-like pages to IGTVs, Instagram stories, Reels. Oh my gosh, if you're not doing Reels, do Reels. It's changed my business. We've seen this evolution. And at one point, there may have been a time where a coach could hold up a shaker bottle and say, join my Beachbody group and you're going to get Shakeology and you're going to get this and this and this, drop an emoji. And that may have worked. But here's what we're finding today with social media. That is not working today. What is working? And this is the key on how I have grown my business. The way that you grow a business is you are more invested in the value you add to people and how you serve your people than the sale that you are going to have. And people feel that. People feel when you are truly invested in them as a person. Now, our social media may be our storefronts per se, but what I have learned is that I do not need to be a walking, talking Beachbody commercial in order for women to step foot into my store. What I need to do is show them the lifestyle, show them the habits that have led to this transformation and allow them to see themselves in that transformation, allow them to see themselves on this journey. I know it may seem counterintuitive. And even when I typed this up, I thought, oh, that sounds so crazy, but it's true. The more that you are selling, the less that you are selling. The more you are focused on sales, the less you will sell. People want to connect to you. People want to hear your heart. People want you to speak to their pain points, not to programs and products. All right, the final point is conversations convert. And I want to be clear that inviting has changed my business. Inviting is crucial and super important. I do it every single day, but it comes after the connection. Just yesterday, when I was finalizing this training, I actually got a message from a woman on my social media who had never followed me and we had never had a single conversation. And she said this. She said, hi, sweet girl. I wanted to reach out and see if you've ever heard of insert product. It's a skincare line. I know you would love it. Can we chat? I immediately blocked this woman and I'm so sure she's so lovely and I know she's just probably on fire and super passionate. But here's the thing, that message alerted me that she was not looking to add value to me. She was looking for a transaction. She was looking to take my money and make a sale instead of connect. And so I was immediately turned off. There are ways that we can teach you to invite where you never have to make it transactional. It is that they want to join you and you want them to join you, right? It can be different, I promise. 99% of my conversations have nothing to do with Beachbody, which I think would surprise a lot of people. But here's what I've learned. And I think this is the great news about our social media, you guys, is that, our posts, all that our posts have to be is add value. Right? And it's so much easier today. Reels, do a funny reel, share a recipe, a meal plan, share a story. Share value. Your post should always share value, right? But your stories are where you're fostering the relationships of the people who are already on your page. Now, I said 99% of my conversations have nothing to do with Beachbody, but here's why. We're connecting on things that matter to them. I'm sharing stories that, yes, they're my stories, but those people become invested in them and they see themselves in me. And we talk about the commonalities. My people have followed me for, 3+ years. And I can tell you over that time, they've seen us move 3 times. We're a military contractor family. They've been around for 3 moves at this point. Every single week on Sunday, I invite them to join me to church virtually. Every single day, they see me wake up, they see my kids, my husband, my personal development. And yes, they get to see a lot of my coaching and, of course, a lot of my nutrition and workouts and all of that. But more than that, they get to see me as a mom. They get to see me as a normal woman who's living a normal life, who's changed it with simple habits and behaviors that they can start today without ever joining me. One of the best messages I get is, I haven't joined you yet. I'm not ready, but I'm down 10 pounds and I'm feeling so good because I started drinking more water. Or I tried that recipe that you posted last week and it was really good. Thank you for sharing that. That means so much to me. It's not a sale, but you know what? I'm adding value and one day that woman will join me. So let them come on your journey. Let them feel like let them get to know you. Share your life, share your family, share the things that are important to you, but make sure it is uncurated. Make sure it is, a documentation style of story. Don't make it, beautiful. Don't make it filtered. Just make it your life and share it with these people because they want to feel like they're joining a real person. Okay, I know this is really cheesy quote and I tried really hard to find one to replace it, but I just couldn't. But they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I know it's cheesy. I know. But here's the thing. It's true. Your people have to know that you are more invested in them than the sale. And I promise you, once they know that, they will stick around. They will keep watching until they are ready. I always think to myself, the worst case scenario that my coach could have done is forced me to sign up by putting me in a corner, right? The worst thing she could have done is made me feel guilty or make me feel like I was making excuses. Instead, she met me where I was. She allowed me. In the year and a half that I followed her, I joined almost every single free group she did. In the year and a half, every Sunday, I screenshotted her recipes. Every week when she would share her meal plan, I took a picture of it so that I could try to implement it. She gave me so much free value. And when it came time to join, guess what? I joined her. She gave me tons and tons of value. I knew the value would be there behind the scenes as well. So here's what I want you to know. You have the solution. And they have the problem, but it matters how you talk about it. And so I want to leave you with this before we go to the next section. And that is, you are inspiring people who pretend not to see you right now. There are people out there who are like me. I had turned on every notification. I watched every story. I was silently watching, totally inspired. I knew one day I would join her on this journey. But I think had she pushed product or pushed programs or pushed Beachbody, I don't know that I would have walked through that door. Because instead of it seeming like a transaction, instead of seeming like it was a sale, I knew that she was invested in me and my family, and it took her a year and a half, but I would say it was worth the wait for both of us. We have absolutely changed our lives and done this together. And she knows I'm going to say this, but truly, when I joined her on this journey, she was a new coach, but she was one step ahead of me.
Incredible. I want you to finish this sentence for me. People don't hate network marketing.
They hate network marketers.
Yeah. I mean, the way that you talk about the business is that you don't talk about the business.
Yeah.
Talk about Beachbody, but without talking about Beachbody. I want to share a picture with the audience. Let me see if I can do this. Can you say something about this, Katie?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And this is this is the story. So when I had postpartum depression, I was abusing food and alcohol. And I mean, if you can't tell nutrition and some water and workouts can change a life, I mean, it has brought the light back in my eyes. And, I always say this to people, but I always thought that a good mom sacrificed herself for everybody else. But what I didn't realize is that in order to take care of everybody else, it starts with taking care of you. So in this first picture was truly in the depths of postpartum depression.
Well, it's really incredible. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. I mean, I have notes written down like Google is your competitor.
Yeah, truly, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you're not adding value, people are just going to go straight to Google. Thank you for all of those great tips. I think it was really informative, and I want you to just close out your portion of the call with what has been a key factor for you in the last 3.5 years as a coach. What's been key to your success?
Yeah, I'd love to share that. So, for me personally, prior to starting this journey, I wasn't implementing personal development in my life whatsoever. I don't know, maybe other industries do as well, but I just never had anybody say the importance of that. And one of the things that absolutely changed my journey, not just, on the business side, but also in my personal journey, was The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It was one of the first books I read. And I wanted to share a quick story from that book because it's kind of that story that for me summarizes why we just keep going and do the right next thing. But there were two brother frogs who were hopping on a dairy farm and having the time of their lives. And as they were hopping along this dairy farm and having so much fun, they accidentally hopped into a pail of cream. And initially it was so much fun and they were splashing around and drinking the cream and laughing and cutting up and having a good old time. But pretty quickly they realized, oh my goodness, the walls are too slippery to climb and the cream is too deep to jump. And so the two of them had the choice, right? What are they going to do? So one of them decides to start thrashing around and he's trying with all of his might to get out of there. And eventually what he does is he gets himself so tired that he ends up dropping to the bottom of the bucket. But the other brother decides, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen, but here's what I know. If I can consistently paddle, if I can consistently just keep my head above water, I know that in the morning, the farmer's going to come out here and he's going to find me in this bucket. And so my best bet is to just keep afloat. Well, in the morning, he woke up and the sun was rising and he could see it over the top of the bucket. And he realized that overnight he had quite accidentally churned through his paddling this cream into butter, and he had risen to the top of the bucket. And this story is so reminiscent for me of my health journey, but also of this business. It is not about perfection. It is not about thrashing and sending out 1 million invites and trying to get to the top as quickly as you can. This business is built on consistency and longevity. Just like my health journey. The first day that I pushed play on that workout, I didn't make it through the warm up. And I sat down and I watched the rest of the workout. But the next day I decided, you know what, I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to add 1 minute. And then the next day I added another minute. And then the next day I added another minute. And it's the same thing with this business. I don't know everything, but I know that in order to build trust, and I know that in order to build this business, I just have to show up every single day and consistently do, I know it's corny, but the vital behaviors. I show up every single day doing what I know to do. Stay consistent, stay paddling. And I can tell you, I am the most normal, introverted, homebody, stay-at-home mom. I had no clue what was possible with this business. But what I can tell you is, just like my health journey, this business has surprised me time and time again with just staying consistent. And I want to share one last quote with you. And it is one that I heard recently. And I think it's true for everything. It says, if you can't see yourself doing it for 3 years, then don't waste 3 minutes. And that means so much to me because just like in my health journey, it didn't happen overnight. I didn't lose 75 pounds in 21 days. It took a year. It took a year of consistently eating on nutrition plan, pressing play on my workouts, pouring into my mind. It took a long time, just like this business. Everybody wants to walk in like the CEO, but you got to put your time in the trench. You got to show up every single day. There's a girl on our team, Kristen Blake, who I love so much, who always says, you have to build your street cred. People have to see you building your street cred. And it's true. You have to show up day in and day out and build that credibility, build that trust factor. Because what we do know is that we see these other network marketers. I one time bought product from a network marketer, and before it was delivered, she'd quit the business. And I thought to myself, I'll never do that. I'll never do that to someone. Showing up every single day is not just for me. It's for the hundreds of women who are watching me. It's for the hundreds of women on my team. And it's for the hundreds of women who haven't found me yet but need me. So I hope that you will consistently show up every single day and just keep doing those vital behaviors, keep paddling, and I promise you, you're going to find yourself at the top of the pail.
Nailed it. I'm so happy you came on the call today. I mean, coaches have been asking this question for a very long time, and how to show up, just how to show up authentically, not salesy, and just being real. And it takes practice to be real. It really does. I go back to the beginning of this call when you shared that you were 215 pounds. You couldn't go up 3 flights of stairs. You were depressed. You had anxiety. I mean, all that rolled it into one. And then how can you ask somebody to join you to do this, right? And it's like what you first program, you just sat there and stared at it.
Yeah.
So it's like there is a beginning for everyone. And if you lead with value, that is better than leading with a sale.
Yes, totally agree.
Thank you so much, Katie. Great job. I've got to move the call forward because 5 minutes with Kevin Shaw is really all I need today to close out my morning.
Thank you, Sandy.
Kevin.
Coaches, whoa, Katie, that was unbelievable. You are speaking my language. There were so many nuggets that I'm going to go back and listen to this again. Coaches, I hope you felt the authenticness that Katie shared with you, that it's all about just being you, and it's about inviting them to start this journey. And it's not being salesy. Like, you don't have to be the top SE person out there. You just have to be you. I love that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is share my screen because I'm going to show you guys how you can help people get started. And one of the best ways to do that is in a bod group. So let me quickly share this with you guys. So I'm going to follow Katie's advice here. I'm not going to do a program-specific bod group. I'm simply going to do a fitness one because part of our total solution is fitness, nutrition, and peer support. This peer support is the bod groups factor. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where the magic happens. We have awesome programs, awesome nutrition aids, but in the end, it's about you helping these people with accountability and peer support. So what you need to do is go to beachbodyondemand.com. This is where you do your workouts. This is where you check out all about nutrition. And on one of the tabs up here says bod groups. You simply click on start a group. From there, you have to click get started. And now you are opening up an opportunity, a platform to help people stay accountable. So what we're going to do is select a program or theme. I'm going to simply make this a fitness theme. I'm going to have them select the program they want to choose. And because it is the Summer Strong sale, I'm going to let them select whatever one they want, whatever challenge pack they want, because it's $20 off. And I'm going to start this group. We'll start it now, and then we'll end this one. Let's say the end of July. Okay. Or you can make this an ongoing group. You do not need to have an end date. You make this ongoing by clicking this box right here, which means it is always open. People can come in and come out whenever they would like. I want this to be in English. And this is simply, you say who can view your group and group listing page. This is people you invite plus your customers and leads. People you invite, your customers, leads, plus your coach page. I'm going to leave it on there. I'm going to have Carl come in and post, and have the super trainers come in and post as well. And then the group name, I'm going to say Summer Strong. That works for me. And then you can upload your own image if you like, or you can select one of these. This one right here. That looks Summer Strong. Okay, you can now add an intro video if you like, or if not, you can simply describe your group. We are here to support each other and get fit. This is what they'll see. I want to make sure, now this is something that they see when they get the email invite. I want to make sure that they have Beachbody On Demand, Shakeology, and I think the performance line is great. So I'm going to have them have the performance line as well. Now you can add, you saw Katie's transformation photos, unbelievable. I mean, that tells 1,000 stories right there. So you can have select some photos to help people get inspired. I'm going to choose these 3. And now you can preview it. This is what it will look like when they get the invite. Perfect, just what I want it to be. Okay, and now I'm going to publish the group. And now what we need to do is invite people to it. So you can either enter in their email address, you can enter them from the Coach Office Management tool, you can invite them if you run past groups, you can do that, or you can simply share a link to your group. Today I'm going to do that one. I'm going to copy and paste this link right here, and I'm going to email it to my friends and family. I'm not going to mass email everyone. I'm going to simply talk to them, and once they have a good understanding of what to expect, that is when I'm going to talk to them about bod groups and how we can hold each other accountable. Now, one last thing I want to say about bod groups, guys. It is not a scary thing. You do not need to become an expert. It is simply a platform. Just like you're not a Facebook expert, an Instagram expert, you don't need to be a bod groups expert. You simply just need to be there to allow people to log into with their phone and say, yeah, I did my workout. Yeah, I drank my shake. And then you guys can post back and forth. It's a very easy thing to do, but it needs to be done. Give yourself that A-grade effort so you can get A-grade success. And just like Katie did, guys, you can build an empire of people who love helping each other. Have an awesome week. Make sure you guys jump over now to the champions page as we announce who's going to win the Mix Bike. Bye, guys.